What's up, good people? What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, coming to you on this Think Different Thursday. Y'all know what we do on Thursdays. We think differently. We as entrepreneurs, we think differently. We don't think like everybody else. We take our capacity to learn, to grow, and we expand it. We expand it on because we don't think like everybody else. That's what makes us who we are as entrepreneurs. But y'all know what we're doing this week. It's building the 21st century company talk this week. We're focusing on our clients. We're focusing on customer client service. We're focusing on client loyalty. We focused on client referrals. Today we're going to focus on client feedback. What am I talking about when I say client feedback? It's every organization, every company must have a client feedback system. You want to have a way that you collect information from your clients about how you're doing. You need feedback, y'all. You need feedback in order to be able to improve upon those things that you are not doing, that you're not being successful at. You must have a way of being able to find out what your clients think about you, how they believe you're performing, because you can think you're doing a great job all you want to, and not be doing it anywhere near close to what it is that you need to be doing. But you won't know that unless you get feedback. And when I say get feedback from your clients, that's your internal. That's your internal client and your external client. That's your internal customer as well as your external customer. Your external customer are those clients are those that come and they buy your product, they buy your services. But that internal client are those that work for you. That do the day-to-day operating of your business for you, so that you can go and do and be what it is that you want to be. So getting feedback from both of those is crucial, because it will tell you what your organization needs to do better. It'll tell you what you're doing great at. It'll let you know what you're doing great at. Every organization or every employee gets an annual evaluation, right? So why should you, as an organization, as a company, even as an entrepreneur, not have to have the same kind of review? It's you getting feedback for how you're performing. That's what you do when you give your internal customer his or her feedback. You're letting them know how they perform, right? That's what that feedback does. Now, let's turn that around for the employer. Your feedback comes, they give you an evaluation of how you're performing. Marriott hotels and other hotels as well, but I worked for Marriott. They had what was called a scorecard. They had what's called a scorecard. And those of us that were managers, that were GMs, your responsibility, you could not get below a certain score in order to be, before Marriott was calling you, the corporate office was calling you on the phone, asking you as a GM, and they weren't talking to the regular manager, they were talking to the GMs, giving them a call. If those scorecards got below, and you couldn't get below and with Marriott, I believe it was 90%. You couldn't get below 90%, and that was, a guest came and stayed at your hotel, and they rated your hotel of their stay there below a 90%. That was how they measured. That was how they got feedback. How was your stay? And there was a list of questions. They had asked how from the check-in all the way through to when they leave the hotel. How was your visit? How was your room? How was the food service? All of those things. And what that did for Marriott, it gave them feedback on how their particular hotels were performing. And you as an organization should have a system in place, like Marriott has, to get that feedback. It's what my business associate Tanya Lewis, she aptly framed it: the before, the during, and the after. The after is part of that feedback, is the feedback that you get. It's part of your customer service performance. Getting that feedback so that you follow up with those that are doing business with you. Whether it's a partnership or whether it's collaboration, whether it's a customer, what's the feedback telling you? Do you have a feedback system in place? How are you getting your overview, your evaluation of how you're performing as a business? Do you have that in place? If you don't, you have to sit down and you have to structure it in such a way where you're asking those that do business with you how you're performing. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate or anything like that. You want to make it, let's say, 5 to 10 questions. Hey, do you mind filling out this survey for me? Do you mind doing this review for me? The more feedback you get, I promise you, the better your company should be performing, because it's going to tell you the things that you're doing right. It's going to tell you the things that you need to improve upon in order to be able to meet the needs of your clients and exceed their expectations. When you look at it from that lens, it gives you the opportunity, every opportunity, when you're dealing with your clients, when you're dealing with your internal client, your external client, to perform. But like I said, just like every employee gets an evaluation, you might get a 90-day evaluation, which is usually when you first get hired. You're working there for the first 90 days, and then they'll give you a review or they'll give you an evaluation to let you know how you perform, whether they're going to keep you or whether they're going to let you go. That's usually the 90-day probationary period. And then sequentially after that, you'll get an annual review. You get an annual evaluation. So you want to make sure that you have that set up in your business as well, even if it's just for you. Even if you have to do a self-evaluation to give yourself feedback, how you perform. And you should actually be doing that, have that set up down where you're doing that on a monthly or quarterly basis. That way you can see what you're being consistent at, what you're not being consistent at, what you need to be more consistent at, what you're already consistent at. All of those factors will go into that feedback that you give yourself, and that feedback that you'll get from your internal client and your external client. But feedback, you all. It's important for you and to get that feedback so that you know the adjustments that you need to make, so that you know the things that your business can improve on. And it's always about being better. It's always about being better. As an entrepreneur, you should always want to be better. As a business owner, you should always want to be better. As a supervisor, manager, you should always want to be better. As a line level employee, you should always want to be better. And the way that you get better is by using feedback. That's how you build, because your clients will give you the information that you need in order to be able to tell you what they need. We were talking about that the other day. Feedback gives you information from your clients about what their needs are, if you're meeting their need, if there's something else that they need from you, and you will be able to add that to the products and services that you offer. But you got to get the feedback, though. If you don't get the feedback, you can't do any of that. If you don't have feedback, you have nothing to base how you're performing off of. So you've got to make sure that you create, a questionnaire, and you should have you should have a questionnaire, at the beginning when you first kind of meet someone, or you kind of the initial meeting for you and the potential client, and then you should have one at the end. How was your, how was your stay, like I said, with Marriott, or how would, were our products, did they meet your need, did they meet your need, did our service, did you get the service that you needed from us? How can we do better? Even as a, like I said, as an entrepreneur, but as a speaker, as an author, you should have it set up where you're getting constant, consistent feedback. That way you always have the ability to be able to improve what it is that you're doing. Hey, they didn't like this, or they said that this could have been better. And you have something to work off of. But you got to get the feedback. Get that feedback, y'all. Develop the questionnaires. Develop an intro questionnaire where you may ask 5 questions, a little bit about them, so you can learn what their needs are. That's gathering that information. And you can understand their need. And then you're able to better explain the benefits, if you know what it is that they need and you have the information from them. You can give them options. You can supply them with options. And then you give them time for you to be able to perform, give them the products and services that they're looking for. And then you ask them, hey, do you mind giving us a review, giving us filling out this questionnaire to tell us how we perform. That should be, hopefully, if you don't have it set up, you want to set that up right away. That could be one of the things that you have in place for your second quarter, going into 2023. It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. Today, Think Different Thursday. It's all about feedback. What's your feedback telling you? What's that feedback letting you know how you're performing? What you're doing great, and what you need to improve upon. That's how you want to look at it. Get that feedback, y'all. Get the feedback, and what I'm telling you, what that will do, that will make a big difference in, as I always say, being better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. But the only way you can do that is getting feedback, y'all. You got to get that feedback. So set that feedback system up. Whether it's the 2 surveys, and you might even, as you are working with a client, or you have a client, you can ask them, is there anything that they need? Are there things that we could do better? And then you follow it up too. Feedback is your follow-up. Feedback should be part of your follow-up. Whether you are a speaker, if you're a speaker, you should have something to be able to give you feedback on what the information that you just gave to the people that you spoke with, so that you can know what it is that they did not get, or that you met their need, you exceeded their expectation, you gave them what it was that they asked you for, that the audience received what it was that you were assigned to be able to do for them. If whatever industry you're in, whatever product or service that you have, you always want to get feedback. Feedback will lead you to being better. Feedback will lead you to being in the top of your industry. But you got to get it. You've got to get that feedback. You want to make sure that you have that feedback, so that you can do what it is that perform at the optimal level that you want to perform at. It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, y'all. Think different. on Thursday. So think about that. Think about how you get feedback, how you want to get your feedback if you don't already have a system in place. Put that in place. Let's get ready for the weekend. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.